530 days into the Russia-Ukraine war. The battle of claims and counterclaims continues. Kyiv has not backed down from using drones against Moscow, while Russia has been targeting Ukraine's military posts as well. However, expert opinions say Ukraine's much-touted counter-offensive has not lived up to its hype. Ukraine has been unleashing a string of drone attacks, but Russian forces have held their ground, absorbing attack after attack. Russian officials say they shot down 2 Ukrainian combat drones which were headed for Moscow. Now, Russian officials say that Moscow downed 7 Ukrainian drones on Monday near the Kaluga region, which is less than 200 kilometers from Moscow. And on Sunday in the Podolsky district of the outskirts of the capital city. The latest drone attack comes after Russian missile strikes on the eastern Ukrainian city of Pokrovsk on Monday. The attack killed at least 9 people while wounding over 80 and destroying apartments as well. Russia says in the last week its forces intercepted unmanned drones, Storm Shadow cruise missiles and HIMARS multiple rocket launchers from Ukraine. Up until a month ago, the Russian capital had not been a target for Kyiv. Though progress is being made, it is much slower than what Ukraine's Western allies would have hoped. But there is another analogy here that the drones which are being used by Ukraine, it's more of a face-saving process because they are not doing any kind of damage to Moscow. Now, according to reports, in the last 2 months, Ukrainian troops have advanced at most about 16 kilometers in 2 areas along the region's 160-kilometer front. While Ukrainian forces have been attacking on 3 fronts, using Western-supplied equipment and training, probing for weak spots along the entire 1,125-kilometer front line, Russians have spent months building the most extensive fortifications and defensive lines. From triple layers of trenches to bunkers, concrete pyramid tank traps and ditches laced with thousands of landmines, which have been laid not just for tanks but for personnel as well. And what is also going in Russia's favor is the speed at which they are able to replenish these mines once they have been used. Now, experts have raised doubts on Ukraine's capacity to recover lost ground. Despite multiple peace efforts, there are no signs of a breakthrough, let alone a ceasefire. With the balance in the conflict unlikely to change soon, Ukraine is nowhere close to gaining back its areas. Now, Russia's multi-layered defensive lines in the eastern and southern parts of the country pose as a major hurdle. Meanwhile, Russia has not gained enough to claim a victory either. And now US is set to get to elections next year. So the question remains, will the West lose its patience with Ukraine? Will it lead to divisions among the alliance that has remained intact since the war started? Will a blame game start now that the counteroffensive has not gone as planned? Who's to blame here?